All right, my dear.
Okay, you know, we're almost done with the five remembrances. We know we've been on them for quite a while, and I'm getting a little tired of remembering them myself. I mean, enough already. I really appreciate all of you. You staying with us no matter where we go in these reflections. You know, and it's not that they're unimportant. But they're not always the most uplifting reflections, and the five remembrances are among some of the most challenging. Um, and the Buddha said he was really clear. These you should be reflecting on regularly. And what are they? And so we're doing a summary this week, kind of all of them. This is kind of the last of the last, the summary of all of them. Oh yeah, this is the existential summary, right? Seriously, we're not going to be here forever. We're not going to be healthy forever. We're not going to be young forever. Yeah. Everything we're going to lose everything that we've collected, and including, and we're going to lose everything that's been near and dear to us. Oh, great. And we're stuck with our karma. We can't get rid of ourselves either, in that sense. We can't get rid of yeah. And that could be claustrophobic and morbid and dark, and could lead us down that kind of negative reflective pattern. It could invite us to do that, right? Which obviously is not the point. It's not the point. I think I said once during these reflections that if this was the heart of the Buddhist teaching, Buddhism would have not made it past the life of the Buddha, because if this was it, no one would want to sign up for it. Really? But it's not it. It's not it. And the context in which it's offered is a context of uh, let's be honest about what we can't transcend, but also, therefore, let's appreciate what is here. Let's appreciate the bounty that is here. It's not saying that any of those things are imminent. And it's not about holding our breath because it's about to happen. It's about to happen now. Well, when's that shoe going to fall? We can do that, but that will just create more dukkha for us. It's about enhancing our appreciation, precisely the preciousness of this life, because it is fragile, because it is fleeting. Huh? Uh, Precisely for those reasons, please, the encouragement there is, please stop taking for granted. Please stop this, whatever we can stop in terms of the unnecessary, neurotic preoccupation with the small stuff, with the small, yeah, 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 I didn't get this, I don't have that, I didn't quite get enough sleep last night, I didn't quite, that stuff. Please don't spend too much time in those neurotic domains, and the casual attention that we talk about all the time, as if it's just all going to be fluffy and good and nice forever. Let's stop that. Let's get a little bit. It's not exactly being more sober about it, but it's more like, how can I continue to appreciate, however the glass is half full? However, how can I invite that in the context of the fact that these are not, I'm not going to be here forever. I'm not going to be here forever. And that's our encouragement to you, all of you, obviously, to lean in those directions, in the uplifting directions. And like, look, we may not be able to. I love Mary Oliver, and a lot of what she says, in terms of when she talks about at the end of my life, which ended a few years ago. Yeah, I don't want to feel that I've just been a visitor here. I want to feel that have been a bride married to amazement. Well, well, that's a tall and seemingly poetic order, right? I mean, I can't pressure myself to be a bride, to be married to amazement, but it is something that I can invite whenever I can remember to invite the preciousness, the amazement, the poignancy, the dearness, the the miracle of being here at all. Yeah, yeah. To try to recall that, to recall that, and whether we recall it or not, the thing about those existential unavoidables is whatever we do, we're still not going to avoid them. So I can be at the end of my life, realize that I've been a bride married to crankiness. Sure, I can do that. This is an option. This is possibility. I can be at the end of my life, feel like I was a groom, I guess, married to moodiness or obsessiveness, or always feeling that I wasn't quite enough. I'm not quite enough. I'm not quite enough. I'm not quite enough. I'm still going to die. Whether I practice compassion or not, I'm still going to get sick. Whether I practice gratitude or not, that's not going to save me. If I keep on reinforcing not liking myself, we talk about this all the time. The way we keep sending, it's one of our main encouragements. We keep sending these messages to ourselves that we're not quite enough. It's not quite enough. It's not quite enough. Maybe someday, but not today. Everybody dies in the middle of those reflections, in the middle of their 5-year plan. Well, it'll be better in 5 years. No, it won't. Stop that kind of dream. Part of it is the invocation to please stop. Please stop. Please get it. Today could be it. Today could be it. We woke up this morning. Sure, that's a cutesy thing, right? It's not cutesy. It's very real. 3 years ago, my sister woke up and her husband was dead on the bathroom floor. They didn't get to say, we woke up this morning. Right? Right? We all hear these stories. We're going to be that story one of these days. Well, but not today. But not today. Today. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And oh my goodness that I don't have that illness or that illness or that illness. We're staying with friends this week. Somebody has this irritable, what is it called? IBS? Irritable?
No.
What's worse?
No, colitis. Ulcerative
Colitis.
colitis.
Oh my, yeah. Oh, gratitude for not having any, So it's really about that. It's really about appreciation. It's always about that. It's always about cutting through some of the flotsam and jetsam, and some of the nonsense and some of the Carl Jung used to say, the reason why we're so neurotic on the surface of our lives is we don't want to feel more deeply into what's going on. We don't want to feel more deeply into our fragility, into our impermanence, and so forth and so on. But feeling into it, we can feel into it and not feel morbid. We can feel into it and go, wow, wow, we're still here. The breath is still moving. We're still alive. The senses are still working. My hearing isn't working quite as well as it was. Neither is my vision. Okay, but they're still working. Most other things are still working. I appreciate that every day. Every day. My balance isn't quite as good, but I can still walk. I can still move around. I'm focusing on what I can do. Focus on what we can do rather than there's yeah, the things we can't do, the things we wish we could have done better, the things that we should, I get it. Yes, but that's that part. That's the part the Buddha said we can do something about. We can't get out of the existential unavoidables, but we can learn to stop our whining. We can learn to do that. It's not easy. We can learn to stop our kind of some of the small stuff that creates that creates kind of tightness or agitation or moodiness. That is the stuff that we can begin to cut through and replace with gratitude, please. Replace with replace with a moment of amazement. Replace with just with one breath, with one full breath, and look out at something lovely. However you do that. Replace with, oh, here comes the cat again. Oh, yeah. It's like walking so confidently into this room, about to find the most pleasurable spot in the energetic field. Oh, yes, teacher, show me how to do that again in that moment. And it just lights up my heart for a moment, every time. Every time. Yeah. It's not so much about finding a new variety, but it is about appreciating the richness, the richness, the richness, the richness. And that's really the invitation behind the invitation to contemplate these existential unavoidables, these remembrances that we are still here, that we still can be grateful, that we can still come together like this. Every day when we see you show up like this, our hearts are lifted. I hope yours are too, a little bit, seeing each other. We're all showing up. We can still do this. We always feel sad when somebody has been on here for a long time and suddenly they're not here anymore, and we have no way of communicating with them. We don't know, are they ill? Are they okay? But what we do know is all of you are showing up. How wonderful that is! How grateful we are. So let's please bring that. As we let go of the remembrances in our teaching now with you, we'll be moving on to something else now, right? We don't forget them, but I would suggest that the way that we replace them, to a certain extent, we do replace those remembrances with remembering that we are still here, that we are still alive, that we are still grateful, that we are. Those are the remembrances that we replace to a certain extent in terms of bringing forward in our lives. And we encourage you to do that as well, however you do that to your own degree. Yeah? So thank you. Thank you as always for your kind attention. And let's meditate together and open up first, okay? Yeah, open up. And when you're ready, beginning to slow it down a little. And lightly closing the eyes. And yes, Maybe first noticing that the breath is still moving in us. The breath of life is still moving in us. The heart is still beating in us. It's one way we encourage, of course, bringing mind and heart together in our practice, right? And that is a way to bring the heart in right in the first moment, the awareness of still being here. Appreciative mindfulness, caring attention. When the mind wanders away, and you notice that, uh, being willing to return to the next breath, the next moment, as if returning to something precious and dear. And softening, softening. And the last few minutes of the meditation. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Let me stop the recording, give y'all permission to unmute.